Good evening. My name's Linda Glazer, and this is my final on persuasive speeches. I live in Pineville, Louisiana, and recently our governors have decided to let 1,400 inmates out of jail. And I am trying to lobby with some others to get it where they do not let the ones out that have prior felonies for murders or child rapists or killers, and the felons that have been convicted for major crimes and everything. And so they let 1,400 inmates out, and recently, just in my area, Pineville, Louisiana, we had one that was let out, and he was convicted for murder prior, and they didn't even know that he was let out of the system because he was not supposed to be let out of the system. And he returned here to Pineville, and he stabbed a girl, and he murdered two others by burning them and setting them on fire. And then he also killed a fourth person. And he was never supposed to really be let out of prison. He did 10 years, and somehow they bounced him out of the system because they got the names mixed up, and the names were similar to each other. And so I'm lobbying here to get a stronger system for convicted felonies, especially on murder. If you take somebody's life and you kill them, or you rape a child and you murder a child, I believe if you take a life, you should have a life sentence. And so I'm trying to get it more where the judges are taking these things more serious. I am also a domestic violence victim. I was strangled in February of this year by my boyfriend, and they only had him in less than 24 hours, and he was supposed to stay in the system for 72 hours. And I am trying to persuade the district attorney's office here in Pineville to be stronger on them and keep them in at least for 30 days for domestic violence by strangulation, because at the same time there was a higher up that he did domestic violence against his wife, and he was not even brought into the police station and fingerprinted or mugshot or anything like that. So they let him out on his own recognizance, and they just called the judge, and the judge told him to just give him a bond and release him. And he wasn't even brought into the jail or anything. And mugshot, there was no mugshots or anything. And the night that my boyfriend did it, he actually confessed to everything, and he did turn himself in, but he only did 24 hours, and he was supposed to do a mandatory of 72 hours. So I'm lobbying for two of our judges actually to be taken off the bench because they have brought in like murderers and everything, and attempted second degree and first degree murders, and they have released them on a bond, and one even let a guy move out of state. I mean, you're in Louisiana, you're living in Louisiana, and you did and murdered somebody, but they let him go out of state. How do they know if the dude's gonna come back for his court appearances and stuff like that? So I'm trying to get people to take this serious and sign my petition, to have two of the judges released for the bench, or have the Attorney General's office look more into what is going on. Um, we just had another one where the mother's boyfriend murdered her 3-year-old son, and he was out within 6 months, and they never told her that they were releasing him. And he made a rap song now, and he's back in the limelight, where he states that he's going to come back and kill her, and that, she got what she deserved, and that he murdered her son, because she was, a person that, he hated and he wanted to have revenge on. Um, More people need to take these things serious, and they need to get involved, and they need to, know what's going on, and how to keep these convicted killers off the streets, and where to go and push these judges for more time to these serious crimes and not letting them back out. We have a high recidivism down here on our systems for repeat offenders. And New Orleans and Baton Rouge is one of the highest crime areas, along with Bossier City and Shreveport down here. And so I believe that my friends, my family, my neighbors need to get involved. We need stronger crime watches, which I'm trying to set up, where, in our area, somebody stays up 24/7 due to the thefts, the break-ins, and everything. And we get somebody to drive around or sit and watch 24 hours and help our law enforcement officers out here. I'd like to bring back to our sheriff's department the ride-along programs too, where the sheriff's department actually has somebody riding along with them, and when something happens, to the officer, or something's going on, these people are actually in the car, and they're watching and they're learning, and they can, call in if an officer is being shot, or if a chase is pursuing outside the vehicle, if somebody's running away from the law. But we have sex trafficking going on. We have child trafficking going on. And at our local Walmarts, practically every day, they have stated that we have 3 men that are here in Pineville, and they're walking around and they're dressed as law enforcement officers and even carrying a gun on the side, and they approached a woman and tried to, abduct them and stuff them in the car and take them for sex trafficking here. But the laws need to be stronger, and I would strongly encourage you to, know your laws, know what's going on around you, know who to contact to get stiffer pe- penny, pe- penalties. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of a sore throat here, but I apologize. But I am lobbying, that these convicted killers need to stay in jail longer. If you take somebody's life, I believe that the sentence should be 50 years or longer. Um, we had a case where 2 cops stated that the dad to a friend of mine stated that Chris had warrants out, and he did not have warrants out, and they were actually chasing him because one of the cops was involved with Chris's girlfriend, and he had his little boy in the vehicle, and when they came up, they just jumped out of the car and started shooting, and they said that they didn't know the little boy was in the car, but the little boy was killed instantly with 1 shot to the head, and they kept shooting and shooting, and one officer unloaded 18 rounds. He only got 40 years was the maximum that he got, and the other one just got 10 years. He'll do less than 7. We have a sorry criminal justice system where these judges and the law is not strict enough, ju- actually due to the overcrowding in jails and everything. But we need stronger or places to lock these people up and keep them off the streets and not let them go back out and kill and kill and kill or take somebody's life. I do believe in the death sentence, and I do believe that the death sentences need to be, carried out. And I really, honestly, in my heart, feel that if you do take a life, that a death penalty should be carried out. If you take a life, your life should be taken. I believe it. Um, and that's the way it should be. Then we wouldn't have these overcrowding of jails or repeat offenders. If you kill somebody, then your life should be taken. And I would even like President Trump to step in and get some laws taken. But I would encourage you to go out and rally and know your laws and speak to the Attorney General's office and get your um, prosecutors' offices involved and the judges, and get out there and speak up for the crimes and speak up for the repeated crimes and speak up when they let someone out for murder and everything. So I am, again, trying to persuade and trying to get people to um, sign my petition to get 2 judges removed for the bench for their jobs of not standing up and not protecting the community and the people.